UFC 311 is just around the corner, and today I'll be giving my UFC predictions. Just to make this video a little shorter, I will just be narrowing it down to the only really the important fights, the ones that we care about, because we don't have time for Carlo Rosa and Alan Perez. And yes, I'm driving. I can multitask. So, my first prediction is between Grant Dawson and Diego Ferreira. Diego Ferreira just came back from a masterclass performance. I was impressed. I thought his grappling was honestly Dagestani level. I thought Diego Ferreira just looked a step ahead in every single point of the fight. I mean, his takedown or his defense on the ground, his jiu-jitsu game is just on another level. He is 39 though, so I mean, at 39 years old, you really don't know what to expect. Grant Dawson, he got fraud checked by Bobby Green. I feel like once you get knocked out like that in that quick of a fashion, I just think you never really. I just feel like you can't come back from that. I mean, I know that was a couple fights ago. I believe he just won. I forgot who he beat last, but it's a tricky fight because Grant Dawson is still young, but Diego Ferreira just looks so good in his last fight. So I'm gonna go with Diego Ferreira just because, I mean, in his last performance, honestly, if he was younger, he could have been, that performance could have made him a solid contender. I mean, I don't know if he's ranked yet. I don't think he's ranked. Grant Dawson's ranked 15, but I'm gonna go with Diego Ferreira. Next on the card, Johnny Walker versus Anthony Smith, his twin. Oh my God, this dude right here just cut me off. Anthony Smith is twin. Against Ryan Spann, Gusakov looked pretty good. And, I mean, they both beat Ryan Spann. They both knocked him out. I believe that Johnny Walker, though, in this day and age, I mean, that chin is just absolutely gone. He has no chin. He gets touched and he goes to sleep. I don't know how recent that video was of him getting knocked out by that 19-year-old boxer. I don't even know if he's 19, but he doesn't just get knocked out. He gets flatlined. Like he has cartoon knockouts. It's bad. The hype on Johnny Walker at one point was insane. Everyone thought he was gonna beat John Jones. It's just crazy to see how much of a turn his career has gone. So I'm gonna go with Gusakov as TKO in the second round. Let's put it. Maybe even the first. Who knows? First round KO. Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. To be honest, I don't know Reinier de Ridder that well. Fuck, man. I guess I'm a casual. I don't know, but I think I have good picks. I don't know Reinier de Ridder that well. Kevin Holland, I think this is in middleweight, so you never really know how it's gonna come up. Kevin Holland is a frustrating fighter because he has skills. Like, he has our knockout power. I think he's calm in these fights. I mean, he's not the best grappler, but I think if he were to fight in the 170-pound, he can make a real solid good run. I mean, he made a good run in middleweight at one point, and yeah, I mean, ever since that Hamza Chimaev fight, I just feel like he never really took his career seriously. After those two back-to-back losses versus Brunson and versus Vettori, you know, it seems like he's always been that type where he's like, yeah, I'm not trying. I'm not going to try. I'm just here for a paycheck. I do think he's still good enough to be Reinier de Ridder. I'm not too sure of his skills, but yeah, Kevin Holland by decision, I guess. Now this is a big fight. Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. I think both fighters are pretty chinny, to be honest. And Beneil Dariush is there's not much left to take. It's frustrating because I thought Beneil Dariush actually had the best chance of beating Islam Makhachev, but you know, in order to be in the top of the game, you can't have a glass chin anymore, at least in this day and age. So Renato Moicano, not the biggest power puncher, but I think he is good enough. I mean, the fight's definitely going to be a stand-up fight. And honestly, you give the stand-up skills to Beneil Dariush, but this fight goes down to one thing and one thing only. How good is Beneil Dariush's chin? And I think his chin is gone. That being said, Renato Moicano, TKO. Second round. Next fight, Yu Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Now, Jamal Hill has got a lot on the line. I think this is the eliminator of who's going to be in the top 5. Whoever loses from this fight will never be in the top 5 again, and will never have another title shot. Both of these have been champions. Both of these are coming out of losses, but they have one common opponent, and that's Glover Teixeira. Now, as good as we thought Yu Prochazka was, honestly, I think he got kind of fraud checked by Glover Teixeira. I mean, I know Glover Teixeira was a champion at that time, but let's be honest. I mean, how much are we gonna rate that run? It seemed like Jan kind of gave up the fight. Anthony Smith, he was never really that good. I feel like to anyone who actually has skills, they could beat Anthony Smith. So how much could we rate that win? Who did he beat before that? Who did he beat after that? I'm not sure, but I don't know. I just don't rate that Glover Teixeira run. Maybe it's just me, but I thought the fact that Yu Prochazka had such a close fight with Glover Teixeira, it just looked bad on him. I mean, Glover Teixeira was 42 years old. So Jamal Hill made it look like Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira's fight seemed like what it should be for when a 30-year-old fights a 42-year-old. Jamal Hill fights with his hands pretty low, so that could be an opening for a Yu Prochazka. But Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira was pretty close, you know. And as much as people want to talk about that inside step, how Jamal Hill is making an excuse, you know, it could have been a factor. So I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill winning this fight. So I'm actually gonna keep it with decision. We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to make every single fight a TKO. But so I'm gonna make this fight a decision. Although they both have the biggest knockout percentages, I think, of any fighter in this card. Let's go to the next fight: Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. People need to put respect on Merab's name. Like, I think for some reason any fighter that comes out of that Matt Serra, Ray Longo camp, they just seem to get disrespected. I mean, Merab, he's not the most skilled fighter, and it sounds disrespectful saying that, but he's not gonna submit someone. He's not a better wrestler than most fighters. He's not a great striker, but his best ability is pace. He out-wrestled Henry Cejudo because of the pace. I think in the beginning of the fights, you saw Henry Cejudo. He could match and he could put up a good fight. And I think he was actually winning the wrestling against Merab, but in that second, third round, Merab just took over. I mean, the pace that he puts on, it's different. The question is, can he put that pace on Umar? Umar has better striking. He has better grappling, maybe. I don't know. I think we're giving that Nurmagomedov name too much respect, because we haven't seen the grappling. He was able to out-grapple Corey Sandhagen, but you know, we've seen Corey Sandhagen get out-grappled before. This fight, honestly, as much as people don't want to say it, in my opinion, it's more up to Merab than it is to Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Merab can't come in with fear. He has to put on that pace. He's gonna lose the first round. He's gonna most likely lose the second round. He can't lose that third round. He can't lose that fourth round. And that fifth round, I mean, he has to try to go for that TKO. We've seen that these Russians are breakable, you know. Islam broke against Volkanovski. Islam was breaking against Dustin Poirier and then managed to get that choke. So, you know, are we gonna say that people can't match Islam's grappling? And I'm saying that relating to Umar. Umar didn't start off as a grappler. He started off as a striker, and then he's worked his way there. I believe Merab started off as a grappler or some type of judo artist. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he had some type of background. And it's obviously not striking. As much as I just rambled saying that it's up to Merab and that he can get this done, I just feel dumb making any bets against the Nurmagomedovs. You know, they proved it time and time again. You don't bet against these Russian fighters. You don't bet against these Dagestanis. They're just built different against steroids from the beginning. Inbreds. They're definitely inbreds. They got that hard strength. Unfortunately, as much as I just was going for Merab, I think Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be the new champion. Now going to the final fight. Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. This is a rematch. I think that Arman was really young. I think he was 20 and he only had 3 weeks of training for that camp. And I think we've seen Islam seems to underestimate his opponents, and as much as he wants to talk about being humble and respect and all this BS that they don't like to keep up, you know, he disrespects everyone's skills. He thinks he's above it. But once he realizes that, you know, this is a serious contender and that he's not gonna just walk through every fighter in the division, or he's not gonna walk through this specific fighter, I think he takes it serious, and I think he's taking this fight serious, and he's not disrespecting Arman's skills. Both of them are great wrestlers. Both of them are great on the ground. I think Islam is a better wrestler, but I don't think he has the best gas tank. Yeah, I don't think he has a better gas tank, which will keep both of them from wrestling. And if it comes down to striking, Arman has gotten rocked a good amount of times. I know Islam has gotten knocked out before, but Arman has. It seems like he hasn't developed his skills. His skill at 20 years old was good. It never got to the great category. And Islam has been able to box and strike with Charles and Dustin Poirier. So I think it's safe to say that Islam has the better striking. So unless Arman decides to put a grind and knows that he's gonna lose, he's not a better mixed martial artist. Unless he decides to put on the pace from a very early start of the fight, I don't see him winning this. I think Islam's gonna win by decision, and yeah, this is probably gonna be his last fight in the 155-pound division. I think this is his third win. This is actually his third. I didn't realize that. So if he wins this fight, he surpasses Khabib for the most title defenses in 155. There tends to be curses around that. I still think Islam's gonna win. Again, I just feel dumb putting money against these Dagestanis. They have this hard strength. Islam will now have the most 155 title defenses, and what could be known as honestly one of the worst runs. And I know that's disrespectful because he beat Volk, he beat Charles, he beat Volk twice, who's a 145 pounder, and then I think Charles didn't show up to win the fight. And then Dustin Poirier, you know, did he deserve that fight? They were kind of giving him. They were kind of giving Islam a easy win, to be honest. He might retire. I don't see him going up to face Belal. Who would his next fight be? Ilia Topuria is really the only fighter that can challenge him, and that's another 145 pounder. So, you know, I just wish Justin Gaethje beat Islam. You know, Justin Gaethje has no jiu-jitsu. So, honestly, it's as good as this 155-pound division is. There's all the stars are leaving, and there's no more personalities in it. Yeah, Islam's gonna win. I think with this he's gonna go up. I don't know if he's pound for pound. I think he is. He should be, but I have Islam winning as a decision. Anyways, that's my picks. That's Slutty Pumpkin picks. Peace out.